This is the Variety Sports Network created for the fans, by the fans. Now to your host of tonight's show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's championship series time. Welcome to the seventh inning stretch.
Ladies and gentlemen, like Josh Edwards said here, we got a lot for you tonight on seventh inning stretch. Maybe not always the best games here. Maybe we'll get a little action here by the Rangers late here, a little bit late push here, but we got a lot to get into. We got the Phillies Buzzsaw. We got a little Bochy magic maybe coming to an end a little bit here, and then we'll talk a little wild card advantage, and we got a lot with. Let's bring him in first here. He has been with us in a while here on seventh inning stretch. He made a guest appearance last week out of the blue. Tyler McGurk, good to see you, my friend. Now we can really dig in deep with you on baseball. Let's go to work. You know this is one of our favorite sports. Glad to have you on.
It's good to be back on. It's been a while. I accidentally somehow managed to find a way to make a little guest appearance. Last time I was on this podcast, we were buried. The Rangers, Bochy, and the Magic was dead. The injuries were racking up, and here we are in the ALCS. They are losing Game 3, but they're right in this thing up 2-1. And then, like you said, the Phillies they look unbeatable. That top three in their lineup is just a home run. 2 home runs every game. It's fun to watch, and it's going to be a good NLCS. Hopefully the Diamondbacks can find a way back in this. We shall see.
And, of course, I got my guy here, Josh Edwards, with me every week. Josh, I'd be remiss if I mentioned, like you said, we're brought to you here by Dugout Mug Studios, Row 1 brand. Like I said, be sure to follow us at Variety Sports Network. We're making a little push here. We'll probably be doing a little bit more during the World Series here, but we're still bringing it to the baseball action to you here once a week. I got a lot of topics here for you. We're going to start off here in the playoffs, of course, before you get to my Peter Gammons Diamond Notes. So let's start right there with what Tyler said. Let's start with one of my favorite, since we had him on, whoa. We stopped the show for Logan Stone at all times. Are you guys having a party? That's nice. Must have a lost by invitation in the mail. Logan.
Come on, if you want in, come on in, buddy.
Come on in, buddy. You're always invited.
You're always welcome.
Always invited to this dance. Josh can send you we can send you the link at any time here. All right, hey, the buzzsaw that is the Philadelphia Phillies. My goodness. I mean, the fort was on. He's like, remember, right even before, he's like, they look like a buzzsaw. And right from the get-go. And that's what they look like. I mean, they first pitch ambush people. Going back to last year, they have 17 first pitch home runs in the playoffs, which is absolutely insane. Schwarber just looked like his old self again. What's he have, 19 home runs now in the playoffs? It's crazy to think about that. Maybe 18, I think what it is. Josh, what do you think about the Phillies there? Just – I don't know. There's kind of magic around them a little bit now, and their lineup just looks unstoppable.
Yeah, I did not see this happening. And honestly, I mean, they're fun to watch, but there's a couple players on that team that make it hard for me to root for them.
Who is that?
No, Castellanos is one of them. I can't stand him. But Castellanos, and then there's this thing about Schwarber I don't like, probably because he was a Cub. So, I mean, there's a couple guys. There's a couple other reasons I just don't like. I'm not a big fan of the Phillies, so I was rooting for Arizona, but Arizona just died, unfortunately. And going back home, maybe they can pick it up and rock and roll. But I don't know, man. Phillies, I think, are gonna make a run at the World Series.
I mean, they're looking pretty dominant there on offense, Tyler. It looks like you're on mute right now. Hopefully you'll be able to get off here in just a second with it. What do you think? What are you making of the Phillies run here a little bit? Ryan Thompson. Is it Robbie? I always want to say Robbie Thompson. Ex-Giant shout out there. That's who I always think about when I see him. But what do you think about the Phillies? Our guy Ryan from BSE Sports, I'm sure he's going crazy, Bill, over there. They're probably loving every minute of it. But with that said, what do you think about what Josh said there and then the Phillies? Can the Diamondbacks make any push? I kind of wrote it down. Are the Diamondbacks dead? Or is there anything they can do that even with the next 2 games in the desert?
I'm not going to declare a team dead after losing 2 games on the road, but it's not looking good. I mean, they have some guy named Fat starting Game 3. He's been pretty good.
I got it as a note. So far. I got it as a note here.
But big Brandon Fat. I mean, it's not a good sign. The Phillies, just to concentrate on the Phillies real quick, they just have that lineup. It's just tough to beat from top to bottom. They're all. I mean, you have Nick Castellanos. I know you hate him, but it's he takes a good at bat for the most part, and he'll make you pay if you throw a fat pitch. And that's
not throw them first pitch fatties though. Is that like something we can avoid or another day? Like, can we avoid letter high fatties? It's like that's something we can avoid. With this guy, your boy, I'm just gonna call what you said now. Can Brandon Fatty avoid the fatty pitches to the Phillies in the next year? That's where that's where to go with. So in that regard.
How do you pronounce that name? It's ridiculous. But the lineups is great. Schwarber, I hate the guy too. He reminds me of a better like Matt Stairs with a big softball swing, just trying to launch him into right field every time up the bat. He'll take a bunch of pitches every time in the leadoff hole. He's not your quintessential leadoff hitter. But for the 2020s, he's what every GM seems to be looking for, especially my GM in Farhan, who I don't want to get into the new era of baseball, but just that prototypical leadoff hitter.
No, I hear you.
He's the guy now. He hits jacks, he gets on base. And then the signing of Trey Turner. Yeah, he was awful for the first 3 months of the season. But just
that standing ovation
player.
August
that standing ovation did change it all. And I give the Phillies
history.
I do give the Phillies fans credit for taking the time to be like, all right, let's just try and help this guy out, because they're not known for being patient and they're not known for doing such a thing like that.
I thought it was brotherly love. I thought that's what they did there.
I think that's a sarcastic remark. That's very sarcastic. And then Bryce Harper is just a freaking animal in the postseason. I don't know. He turns into Babe Ruth. I don't know.
Well, at least the last couple. We'll get into that.
Well, yeah. Since he's been a Philadelphia Philly.
Before I get to you, Josh, again here we got Logan. First of all, they have Turner, and that should be enough. Second, I'm worried about the Phillies relying solely on the home run. This happened last year when they looked great, but then got shut out in the World Series. Definitely something you got to be concerned about. You look ahead to the World Series like that. But you thought with the Diamondbacks, Gallen and Kelly, that would be a pretty good 1-2 to kind of get you started with, right? Like that might. If you kind of look at the Rangers, you're like, well, Montgomery, you're like he's not necessarily better than those two guys. So I don't know. Maybe the Astros you look at it a little differently with their guys, but at least from the Rangers standpoint, not so much. The one thing for the Phillies, though, for me, Tyler or Josh, Tyler kind of mentioned it, is Harper. He does seem like he's kind of reaching this different aura as a playoff performer.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mean,
and he's kind of copied your beard a little bit here.
Well,
speaking of hair, you guys have the best hair in Variety Sports Network. The hair is unbelievable. I have to wear a hat, or else I'm gonna.
He has the hair. He has the hair. No, I mean Harper is finally. I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna find it hard to believe. He's finally a player who I've always believed was overpaid, who I am starting to see the value in paying him that kind of money.
That's well said. I like that. That is well said. I like that.
Because he steps up when the lights are the brightest, and he never seems to choke. He is a natural-born winner. He seems to be the hype, emotional leader of the team, and in a very excitable team with a lot of what seem to be alpha-type personalities.
Yeah.
He is definitely the supreme alpha in that clubhouse, and he may be one of the few players I think are actually worth being paid in this era, extreme amounts of money.
Can I build on that Bryce Harper and how he's changed? Like you brought up, he was hard to like. You didn't want to root for him. You felt he was overpaid. And I've been tweeting this on Twitter for a while, my player comp in a difference. But he has no championships at this point still, I believe.
No.
But he reminded me of Kobe Bryant and how Kobe Bryant was brought up. Like they were both young, very young when they became pros. They were immature. But the immaturity always because they wanted to win. And they might have hot dogged some things and they might have done something, but in their heart of hearts, they're competitive as F. And you saw it from the beginning. They were super competitive. And now, since they both aged, they both got more mature, and they both learned how to turn that
under pressure.
Yeah, deal with the pressure and guide it in a more positive light. Where now I love watching Bryce Harper play baseball, and it's kind of how I felt about Kobe Bryant when he got into his career.
Kobe did those things I hated, though. He did those and Harper does some of that stuff too, right?
Yeah,
like,
I agree, but it's all about winning for them. Yeah, they're gonna like the whole chest bumping or chest like hitting his chest like Kobe would do. But it all came down to winning, and they learned how to win later in their. Even though Kobe did win early with Shaq, but it was different. You didn't give him credit. It was kind of, but even the winning thing isn't that important in this whole thing because Bryce has 0 championships. It's just how they've matured.
He has to win this year. This is a year he needs to win.
At 32, now Bryce is one of the best players in baseball, and he's the most clutch player in baseball.
And he's a playoff performer, no doubt about it. That's the thing I like about the most. My guy here, Brian, looks like my prediction is gold Phillies Rangers World Series. Logan, Josh Edwards, why do you hurt me so? He's getting paid $27 million a year. He's won 2 NBAs. He's the heart and soul of that team. That's Logan. Keep it coming, my friend. The thing with Harper, though, people do forget is he wasn't always that great with the Nationals in the playoffs there. But like Logan said,
the 3 air balls in Utah.
That's exactly kind of to your point as well. So we'll see if he can actually finish the job this year and they can get the world and they can actually win the thing. The thing that does get lost is, okay, well, hold on a second. So 10 runs, but how many did they give up again? What was the number they gave up again? 0. Yeah, pretty good chance you're going to win a game when you give up 0 runs. Aaron Nola, he was throwing like wiffle balls up there at moments. Like his little 2-seamer. I don't know if you guys got to see some of the live strikeouts he had, but I mean, nasty. Like there was one where like I think it was Walker was like, that's not a strike. And it was like the whole ball was inside the whole entire the K zone. So that tells you like how nasty his stuff was last night. So, and then you got your guy Wheeler. He's dealing a little bit too there, Tyler. He's looking amazing for the Phillies as well. And then they got this crowd all over Kelly last night for saying that the game in the USA versus Venezuela, that crowd was going to probably be louder than this Phillies crowd. Not probably a smart idea. The Phillies crowd was all over him before warm-ups. I like the one guy, this isn't Venezuela. Like that guy here. Just a complete Philadelphia thing to say. I wish I had the audio of it.
I wish you did too.
This isn't right there. He's warming up. So I thought that was classic Philadelphia stuff there. So, all right. With that said, I kind of want to go to this real quick with the Phillies. We can touch back off. Actually, let me get this real quick, Josh. Your thoughts? Do you think the D-backs are dead? Do you think they have a little push in them?
It's the playoffs, man. Anything can happen. You got to win 4 to move on. Really easily going back home. Arizona can find it. The bats just have to wake up, and the pitching needs to get the damage to a minimum. They're not out of it. They've gotten there, so they're not out of it. And the way they played up till this point, no.
One of the announcers made a point of like, it'd be nice if the Phillies got down. It'd be nice if they weren't up every game. You know what I mean? Like, nice if they actually got a felt with like that when they were always up every game. Do you guys think that Harper is now better than Mike Trout?
No, there's no chances. But I mean, is he better right this
instant? I don't know. I kind of heard like people saying that a little bit. I'm like,
if I was going to have a player for the next 4 years, I would take Harper over Trout.
I agree.
Okay, but his career to this point, you both agree Trout's better than. Like, just like stats alone, it's hard to argue that. But like, then you take playoffs, and I guess maybe.
I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't want either one of them, and I wouldn't have wanted neither one of them on my team at all so far in their careers.
To me, that's insane, Josh. You wouldn't want either one of them?
Not for the money I'd be paying them for as much time as they miss.
That's a different argument.
Now, if they were healthy the whole time, then give me both of them, and I would be happy to have them.
Yeah, okay. That makes more. That's okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I think Trout has had a better career. Trout is going to go down as a better baseball player in their prime. But if I were to replay a career and I got to pick the career I get to play, the playoff game, not being able to play in a playoff game or playing in 5 playoff games in your whole career just diminishes something. Like I wouldn't want to play that career, just playing no big-time games. As good as you are, and I'm not taking any credit because baseball is the most team-driven game. I think Trout. It's just I'd rather play the Bryce Harper career because of the playoff games you get to play in.
Logan goes here better than Trout as a clutch hitter, motivator, and leader. I think that's kind of what you guys like. That's where it seems like he's kind of in that Kobe level you were talking about, Tyler, a little bit. Like he's kind of reached that pinnacle of his career a little bit more. Trout hasn't really got to experience that, but I kind of like Logan says here. I don't think Trout necessarily would ever get to that level, anyways. He seems more like I'll show you by example type of guy. You know what I mean? For the most part, maybe there's a motivational speech in him here or there, but like he's not going to be like Harper at all. Harper, like he said, been on Sports Illustrated since he was like 15 or something like that. So he's giving throat slash signs. He's staring down shorts. This guy's a different level of competitiveness, kind of like you said. Is that when you were tweeting this week about comparisons? Is that the guy, or were you thinking of a baseball guy?
No, a different sport. It was Kobe. It was Kobe Bryant. Okay. It's also mostly just my personal feelings to how I hated both of them when they were younger.
Yeah.
And they've gradually became these players that I respected, never rooted for. I still don't root for either one, but I just respect the crap out of both. And to get back to what Logan said, and nobody think about how crazy that is. That nobody thought he was like this clutch, motivating leader when he was in Washington his first 4 years. People were like, he's a childish baby. That's literally what the narrative was when he was in Washington. So it's that's the maturation that I am
No, I agree.
Enjoy and think he's turned into the Kobe Bryant of baseball without the championships.
No, he's got to get there with it. What do you think of a guy that has had some championships? Somebody you're familiar with here. They're down 2-1 now, or it's 2-0. They're up 2-0 in the series. They're down 8-5 now. They got another run. The Rangers, they were headed to the top of the ninth. They got to get a 3-run rally, hold the Astros here to have any chance. I have it as a 2-0 lead. Obviously, I also have game 3 live now, looking like it's going to be 2-1. So it's looking like if the Astros do their job here a little bit. Josh, what do you think about the Rangers kind of winning those 2 in Houston? Houston hasn't played well in Houston. They were under 500 this year, so maybe it's not surprising in that regard. But 2 pretty big wins to kind of give yourself a chance here in the series. What do you kind of make of them leading up 2-0? You think the Astros have a chance to come back? I mean, I know they have a chance, but do you think they will come back, I guess?
I think this game could be – I think every road team could – or the road team could win every game in the series.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just kind of my expectation. The Houston's had a tendency this season to be better on the road than they are at home, obviously because they were sub 500 at home and they did so well overall. But, I mean, Texas has been playing playoff baseball for, what, a month and a half?
It feels like it, yeah, probably longer.
So, I mean, they're and they've even had a dip in that time, too, where they've gone up and down. So, even if they have a bad game now and then they have another bad game tomorrow night, there's nothing that says this team is so mentally weak that Houston's going to finish the job, in the next 2 games following that. So, like I said, I think this is going to be a long series. I think the teams match up well. I'm rooting for Texas. So
I'm glad to see Houston put a little fight up tonight, though, Tyler.
Absolutely. I mean, this series isn't over by a long shot. I think Houston has the championship mantle. They've done it before. The Rangers have choked in the past. They're kind of, I don't want to say choke artists because it's a whole new roster, a whole new regime, but they've choked before, as a Cardinals fan has seen. The franchise that's never won anything. Houston has much better starting pitching outside of Eovaldi. Their lineup are pretty similar, but Houston has had guys who have done it in the postseason, like Altuve, Bregman. Yordan Alvarez is just a freak. I don't know where he ends up in the grand scheme of how his career works out, but that's one of the scariest hitters in all baseball. I think Houston will find a way to win this series, and I hope they do because I think it makes for a more interesting World Series as well.
Your boy Josh, every time he throws a game, I just think of you when I first joined the show. Jordan Montgomery, he continues your boy. You were happy, you were disappointed when the Cardinals let him go, and he continues. And you were so happy when they got him. He continues to do well for the Rangers. Remember, I love it. I felt like when I was telling Fort that I was like, no, I'm telling you, Bruce Bochy has magic. He just pitchers go 6 1/3. It happens. I don't know why, but it happens. They go 6 1/3 innings with them there, and then they get clutch hits. This guy Evan Carter, making spectacular catches, like batting third now in the Rangers order. He's a rookie. Are you kidding me? Like, it's just unbelievable what these guys do for Bochy at the playoffs. I don't know. I'm convinced he has some sort of spell over guys. Now he's got glasses, Tyler. Now, I mean, I gotta think Giants fans got to be a little jealous of it. No, or is it just kind of like
Absolutely.
you're happy?
No, I mean, I'm happy for him, but we should have held on to him. This whole Farhan Kapler, thank God Kapler's gone. It's been
congratulations for you guys for that.
Thank you. I mean,
I'm
it was the best baseball news I could have gotten all year. Yeah, but yeah, I'm rooting for Bochy. I'm jealous. I'm disappointed he's still not. He should have left on his own terms. Is my only issue with how all the things went down.
So you're not rooting for Baker? That's the thing with Giants. They got two of these guys. Two of the guys.
Rather, Bochy won. Baker pulled Russ Ortiz.
He did.
Big difference.
And Russ we trust. That was, or as they say, in Russ we can best. This was my next topic. How great does the guy you just mentioned, Yordan Alvarez, be? Like, I literally just had that down there. I was like, so he ties Stanton with 6 homers in his first 6 postseason games. He would have had 7, folks, if you were watching the game. Tavares robbed him of a home run there,
dude.
So that was a sick catch.
Grab.
That
grab.
Awesome catch. So he would have been 7 home runs in 7 postseason games. This guy's just a freak of nature. I mean, we're not even talking about the series.
Another hit too.
He's unreal. I mean, he's got to be the most dangerous hitter right now from the left side of the plate.
Him and Harper.
And he almost feels more dangerous than Harper right now. Everything he hits is a home run.
He has unreal power. The power is unmatched in baseball.
He's a smart hitter too, like Harper.
He's a good hitter. He's not just a power guy. He's a good hitter.
With a shit ton of power.
Massacres the A's. I think he has like 28 over. He's unreal. Like this postseason, Josh. Like what was it? The wild or that first round? What do you have? Like 3 home runs. This series already. Like I said, 6 straight games with a home run. Pretty hard to do that. And like I said, he would have had 7 if it wasn't for a spectacular play tonight. Do you think this guy? I feel like he. I guess is he better than Big Papi? Is he on that potential? I guess.
That's something we got years.
No, but that's what it feels like, right? Or no?
I mean, he could definitely be up there in that category. I think. I mean, if he continues this trajectory, absolutely. I mean, if he can keep going to the playoffs and having these monster runs with these RBIs and great on base percentage and hitting the home runs, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so on a lower level, is he better than Ryan Howard?
That's a good one.
That's like Ryan Howard had a great career.
I don't think he strikes out as much as Howard for me. That was the problem I have with Howard. He struck out a lot.
Howard's not even like. No,
but we're thinking Ryan Howard later when he.
No, but Howard could. I feel like Alvarez overall is a little bit better hitter, but that's just picking, right? Like Howard's a beast, but that doesn't mean he's a beast. I would just say he's a little bit overall a little bit better hitter, but maybe I'm just being a little bit in the moment as well. So I just remember thinking Howard struck out a lot when I kind of think of him, but still being a beast, but just like he did strike out a lot.
But Alvarez is more dangerous at the plate than Howard was. That's the difference.
Like he can get singles to left field a little bit more.
He's more dangerous. He's more versatile.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
Oh.
I just saw that stat. I was like, okay, Stanton. I didn't know he could. I didn't even know he played 6 straight playoff games.
I was shocked when I saw that name. I'm like, Stanton did all that.
Stan did that with him. But it was funny looking at StatCast. I saw he's on there, the top 5 home runs over 500 feet there.
I don't need to take over, but so he's better than Howard. And he's worse.
I don't know if he's better than Howard, but I feel like Howard.
Okay, is he closer to Howard?
I think he could be Howard now.
Is he closer to Howard or Ortiz?
I think definitely closer to Howard. Ortiz is a different level because of his playoff performances.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I said. He'd have to continue with the playoff stuff. Like he'd have to be able to continue the playoff traditions and be in the playoffs to get to Ortiz. But if he keeps doing what he's doing now, then yeah.
Does Howard have 1 MVP, 2 MVPs? Ortiz doesn't have an MVP.
I think he has 1.
Jordan doesn't have an MVP.
No.
So then,
he feels like he should.
I agree with the pecking order right now. I would put Ortiz, Jordan, and Howard, but I think we're disrespecting Howard a little bit.
Well,
I'm not trying to disrespect Howard.
I know you're
I wasn't
not.
trying
I
to do
know,
that.
but I don't know.
Dude, he's a
well,
St. Louis kid, man. Like, I got respect for the guy. I don't know. I think he was a little overhyped.
I think you're seeing the strikeout though. Like that was the big thing with Howard at times when he did not have those three. Even when he had the monster season, that was part of his deal a little bit with it. And but I agree. I think Howard was a beat. And right now, I would say Howard is better than Alvarez. I wouldn't say that. I think Alvarez has the potential to jump him there a little bit as time moves forward here, especially with the teams that Alvarez seems to be on as well. All right, hey, question of the week here, row one brand. Does the wild card advantage, is it a first round? Does it seem to be an advantage for the teams? Like I said, the Dodgers go out, the Braves go out. Help me out with the other team with the AL that goes out a little bit. So they all go out in the first round. The Orioles. What is this? And 5 days off in baseball. Is this just whiners, happening for the teams that are the best in the league, or is this a real deal, Josh?
Actually, I want to hear what Tyler says first.
Go ahead, T.
Because I know what I feel like.
I mean, it looks like an advantage. I still think it's an advantage to win the division and not have to play 3 games. Like, just the automatic bye is a bigger advantage. Like, you're automatically in the second round. Yeah, it didn't work out this year. But I think there is, like, it's better than getting knocked out in the wild card round and playing a series. I could have lost in that round. Like, you don't know. Like, you don't know how they're going to come out. It definitely seems to give the wild card team a little bit of momentum, which the team who wins the division loses. And that's where the advantage gets to become for the wild card team. But I'd still take a first round bye over playing in that wild card series before the playoffs start.
It'll be interesting how this plays out over time as how long they do it. What do you got, Josh?
All right, so I have I think I'm very cut and dry on what I believe here, so stay with me.
All right.
I think it depends on who the team is, who ends up playing the wild card team, and how the wild card team became the wild card team. Stay with me. If you're a wild card team who got hot at the end of the season and snuck into the playoffs to grab a wild card spot, I think it's a benefit to the wild card team to keep playing because they have that momentum. If you're a team like the Rangers or let's just take the Rangers because they were up there and they slid at the end of the season and they hung in to take a spot. I think it's if they would have had that bye, because Texas didn't have a bye in the first round, right?
Nope.
Yeah, if they would have had that bye, I think that would have been harmful to them because of how their season ended. So I think it's very situational. And this is where I want to conclude it. It's called the wild card for a reason. That team, however that team got to the playoffs, was not by winning. So it's wild, which means anything can happen. That's what the wild card is there for. It's for the drama. It's for the upsets. It gives us the storylines. It gives us the big things that we remember. It's what makes the playoffs great. You guys wanted more teams in the playoffs. You had to have more wild card teams. Now you're not getting the effect of having the best team during the regular season win it all, and you're throwing a fit about it. Pick one way, stick with it. You wanted more wild card teams. It gives you more drama. You're going to have more upsets. It just is going to happen. Sorry. It's something that bugs me.
What do you got?
I made him mad.
Tyler left. I guess.
Sorry, guys. I put in the comments in a second, but I agree with you. That's how I feel. Like,
okay,
that's me. Sorry, those are gibberish. I said I was supposed to say I need a second, but I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think the lesser it helps the teams who are still fighting to get into the playoffs to keep playing. Because they are less talented than the Atlanta Braves, the Dodgers, maybe not the Rays. They kind of play a weird style of baseball, but even the Rays, because they need the continuous at bats to keep their momentum. But like the Braves are better than who they lose. Not maybe not the Phillies, but they're better than most of the teams. They're better than Arizona. Like if they played Arizona. It's just a bad matchup. It's hard to explain, but I'm just saying
that I think if you're the division team, you should not have to take 5 days off. In baseball, that's not an advantage. That is a disadvantage. Like
But
I
is
don't
it
see
better
how
than
that's an
playing
advantage in the
those
game of
games,
baseball.
not knowing what's going to happen?
I'm not saying that they shouldn't be able to just sack it up and win a game, but I'm just saying like that is not necessarily an advantage to a team that wins a division. You get 5 days off, not for the
Okay,
game
so
of baseball. And then they do these.
what do
every
you
other
do for a best of 3 series? Do a doubleheader day one, and if
I
they
think-
split it, then they play a game the next night?
No, I think NLDS. What I would do is the short term was just make the NLDS 7 games. Just saying, okay, if you can't win a 7-game series, that's a lot of pitching on the wild card team to go the whole distance, and that makes you kind of like, okay, if you can't beat them in 7 games, like all right, that to me that kind of shuts up anything at that point. For me, that kind of ends all debates. A 7.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Every
fine.
round should be 7 games.
What if you give the wild or the divisional winners all 5 games are home games?
That would be
There's no
interesting.
traveling. You can play 3 games, then a day off, then 2 games. Is that too much? Is that unfair for the
No, I
wild
think
card team?
I think you need a home game for the team that makes the playoffs.
You got to have for the revenue. There's no
They
way they'll
split
agree
the
to it just because of the
Should we do the 2-3? The 2 home for 2 games on the road?
No, that's terrible. You don't do that. No,
That was so
that's
dumb.
awful.
I hate when MLB did that. The 2 games on the road first. It's like that's the dumbest theory ever. That doesn't make
The
sense.
Giants won a World Series, losing the first 2 at home, then coming back against Cincinnati and winning the next 3.
It happens. I know it does.
It doesn't
And
make sense to do it that way.
and probably the more times we do it over not, it would play out. It's just such a short sample size still to this point right now with it. But I feel like it makes for an interesting debate, especially going into the offseason to see if they make any adjustments with it because of how the teams like the Dodgers and Braves dominated during the regular season, especially the Braves, right, Josh? Like we talked about them so much, and they just couldn't do anything come playoffs time. So I feel like that's one of the teams that that like really feels it the most. All right, Diamond notes here. Peter Gammons, my boy. We got to shout him out here with it. Josh, he's one of my first Diamond notes here. Let's go to it. Arenado's streak, consecutive Gold Gloves ends at 10 years. Pretty incredible that he had a 10-year streak there that comes to an end. Josh, is that deserved, or is it just a reflection of the Cardinals not making the playoffs?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's the Cardinals were not as good of a team this year as they have been in the past. I think Arenado had some struggles early in the season where he slumped with the bat right out the gate, and then it seemed like he got so frustrated with the bat that he made a couple errors that he doesn't normally make earlier in the year. But as the season progressed, I mean, he looked like, platinum glove, gold glove, Nolan Arenado. So I'm a little surprised by that because I don't see a whole lot of third basemen that really stand out in the NL anyways. Machado was hurt a lot of the season. So,
Well,
Astros win.
Astros won 8-5.
See, I'm behind. See, I'm
So
still with 1 out, counts 1 and 2.
Oh, my bad.
2-1.
So.
No, 2-1 here with now they get the series 2-1. Now we got a whole different ball game, right? Like we said, right? If you're joining us live here, this right after the game, that's what we got 2-1 Rangers or Astros win. They end up winning 8-5 here over the Rangers. If you got any comments on it, please let us know here with the big win for the Rangers. They stay alive. Can't go down 3-0 in a series. That definitely is something that can't happen. Josh, to your point on the third baseman, Austin Riley, Ryan McMahon, and Brian Hayes are the up for Gold Gloves there at third base.
I think Arenado's better than all 3 of those guys.
Well, like you said,
Still, this season, I still think he's better.
I think
And
offense,
but it should. It's a Gold Glove.
and the record maybe a little bit.
I don't know how
no
Austin Riley got in this Gold Glove conversation.
Yeah, because they're
That's
including
terrible.
offensive stats. It's a defensive award. There is no, even with Arenado's not pristine season, he still was arguably the best defensive third baseman in the NL.
I think Brian Hayes this season was better than Arenado. I would take Arenado going forward on the defensive side. I do think Brian, but the fact that Austin Riley is nominated for
Those
a
are the
defensive
NL
award
nominees
is
right
blowing
now.
my mind.
Those are the NL nominees for their positions, just to kind of give you a little, if you're the fan.
That's the
Yeah,
only
listen,
Are
problem.
those the
That's all I
favorites
can
on the
see.
left?
Oh, Logan, well done. He didn't deserve
What'd
it
he
this year. He said he didn't deserve it. Suck it up,
I'm not
Josh.
saying he does. I'm not saying he didn't deserve. He deserved it. I'm just saying
Josh,
I don't.
is there a bigger
statistically see
hater
better.
of St. Louis baseball than Logan Stone?
No, you know what? You know what his problem really is. I'm gonna tell you the dirty secret. he loves them so much, and his expectations are so high that when they don't meet his expectations, he can't help but lash out in an unhealthy manner.
To me, he sounds
But
like every Cowboy fan I come across. On
he
Twitter.
does, and that's because he lives in Texas. Tommy Edman better get the Gold Glove for the utility player, though.
Is that a new award, the utility player?
That was
Gold
last
Glove?
year. It's because you got so many guys who play multiple positions. They don't qualify. Some guys don't qualify for one single spot, but they're that good, so they came up with the utility award.
Don't you think Mookie Betts will win that though? Because Mookie Betts.
Yeah, Mookie Betts is winning that award.
How much does he really play multiple positions?
So Mookie Betts
played
has
second base.
2 Gold Gloves in one season. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Mookie Betts win. That'd be funny if he wins at right field and utility.
If he'll get one or the other. So,
he wins the first ever 5-time Gold Glover in a season. Oh,
well, he should get right field.
That's insane. They give multiple Gold Gloves in the same season.
He went first, second, third, and third. They win the whole infield. By the time they're in 1 year, you purposely have them play like 48 games and they have no errors. They win the whole diamond across the field. Well, what a player! That's crazy to me though. I didn't know about the utility thing last year with it, but Mookie Betts, Lindor will probably win it at short, or Swanson maybe, I guess, for the Cubs over there. I guess Kim's in the same thing. He was up for second base and he's also up for the utility as well. So. We'll see what happens there with it. Still one of my favorite Gold Glove stats. Somehow, what was it?
Rafael Palmeiro?
Maddox won like 18 straight. That's insane to me, that pitcher. 18 straight Gold Gloves seems unfair there.
I think Palmeiro won a Gold Glove with playing like 10 games at the first base position or something.
Yeah, that's lazy voting. I mean, my gosh, no errors. Like, are you kidding me? 10 games over. That's ridiculous. All right, so we got Arenado's streak ends at 10 with Josh. St. Louis, just not the year for him. They make the playoffs maybe next year. Bryce Harper.
What was Jordan? Carry on. No,
Bryce Harper, real quick, back to him. We'll save that for Cardinals or Birds and Bush. Phillies. Bryce Harper's hopes MLB allows players in the Olympics. NBA did this and made a much bigger deal internationally for them. Do you think the MLB should finally do this and allow these guys to play in the Olympics? I think it would help the sport internationally a lot more. What do you guys think of it, Tyler? I'll let you get first word on it.
I think it'd be good for baseball. I mean, just the more talent, the better. Might as well showcase it when you can. Nobody cares about baseball in the Olympics for the most part outside of Cuba. I'd love for it to watch Bryce Harper play more baseball. I'd love to see just more Americans playing baseball in the Olympics that are quality players. I mean, like the best USA baseball player I can think of that played in the was Gavin Sheets. Was a name. That was the guy that I remember winning the gold medal back in 2000. Or Ben Sheets, excuse me. Ben Sheets. Thank you. Not Gavin.
There is a Gavin Sheets.
Yeah, I know. Ben. Ben Sheets.
Tommy Lasorda, the manager. Tommy,
yes,
Tommy exactly. He brought us gold.
I'll be right back. Anyway.
Josh, what do you think about Olympic players? I think it's a good opportunity if they would allow that. I know they have the World Baseball Classic every 3 years, but you have another year here where you can get these guys on the stage again to play. I don't know. To me, it's in the Olympics are probably they're a way bigger deal than it would be the World Baseball Classic. So I think it'd be a great opportunity to do it.
So I think it'll be good for baseball, just like you guys think, for the exposure. I think the WBC is only going to grow, and I think the WBC will outdo. Okay. I want to make sure I frame this correctly so I don't get. No. I think the WBC coverage and people watching it would be higher than what people would be watching Olympic baseball. That would be my guess. And I'm talking about when you break it down ratioed wise.
All right, I got you.
To make it apples to apples, because I mean they're not exactly fair comparisons when you look at what they are as a whole.
It's a whole different thing. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so I mean, if you could find a way to make it to where you can compare them, use some statistics to compare them on an equal basis, then I think the WBC at some point will outdo baseball in the Olympics. But it's gonna be good exposure. It's also going to be good for, we'll call it quote unquote scouting for the MLB. I mean, you're going to get to see all the nation's best players that you don't get to see on a regular basis, or guys you may not be aware of that could help your organization. So this is just a good business move for baseball. We'll see how the players do it, how many players elect to actually play. They already play 162 game seasons, and they feel like they do too much. So
Well, it's every 4 years. I mean, it's not like you have to commit all the time to it. So it's not like there's no FIFA, baseball or something like that with it. So I just thought it was interesting that Harper was asked on it. And again, it's not official yet. It's just something they're kind of talking about with it. So we'll see if that kind of comes about here with Bryce Harper in the going to the Olympics. Go ahead, T. What do you got with it?
What if they did like an age limit? Like maybe Bryce Harper's too old to play. I know he's the one trying to get this going, but like, what if you do like a 24-year-old age limit where like the prospects who are playing in the minors are the guys who are going over? At least you have more interest. Like, I don't want to see guys who are college players who.
I don't want to see the pros like they do in the NBA. Why can't we just see all the best players play? What's wrong with that? Like we did with the World Baseball Classic.
Because we're doing it in the World Baseball Classic.
So you're just saying you don't want to see the same thing twice?
No, it's not. I'm saying I don't want to. I'd love to see all the best players play. But I'm just saying.
So what are we talking about
then? Another option that maybe they could get going. Like I'd love to go see like Alex Bohm. Maybe he's 26. This could be his last year in the Olympics. Like that level of.
You'd rather see us send Alex Bohm than
no, I'm not. That's not what I said.
I got a limit for you.
Mike Trout is not going to go to the Olympics. He can't even stay healthy for a regular season. Why is he going to go to the Olympics and risk it?
That's all that matters at this point in his career is winning gold.
I got your limit for you, and it's not an age limit.
That's the best he can do at this point over there. I mean, the NBA allows it, so it's an interesting thing to me how it happens. Like they have these, like Carmelo Anthony, he's going to go to the Hall of Fame on his 9 gold medals. We're going to have, so like in baseball is serious. I'm just curious to see how it plays out long term with it. I'm with you guys. I think they end up keeping it amateur. I don't think they'll allow MLB players to play it. That's my thought on it.
Josh, I was interested to hear what you were about to say.
Go ahead, Josh. I cut you off. I didn't even hear you.
It's all right. I'm used to it. And not because of you.
That sounded sad. That sounded from the bottom of your heart.
You can laugh, Darren. It was a joke.
I don't want to cut you off again.
But no, I was talking more about being with Logan. It wasn't the reference to you. But anyways, Logan. Yeah, Logan, you goofball. I sent you the link and you decided not to come on. Anyways, I think they should limit it to the end of their first major contract. When they still have arbitration years left. So it's not really an age, but it's how long they've been playing at the pro level.
That makes sense.
So that's like what the first. Are those typically like 6-year deals or something?
Yeah.
So that'd make it guys between 24 and 26 would kind of naturally be the cutoff.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying it's the best option. I'd love to go see the best player, but like this would be a way to keep you from having the big money guys who have got those big contracts to go out there.
You get to see the young stars too.
Yeah.
You're showcasing the young stars, the future of the MLB.
Maybe a more realistic option for the MLB and the whatever the union to get together and be able to make something work.
Futures game, All-Star Olympics team, kind of something like that.
But even better than future, like
kind
of like young pros.
I wanted to go real quick into this Diamond notes here. Game 3 home run. Altuve climbs closer to the all-time record here. He ends up with his 25th home run tonight, all-time postseason. 29 is the record by Manny Ramirez. He holds the postseason record. Altuve is number 2 on the list. I remember I got ridiculed on Twitter when I first got on with saying I want Altuve at the bat with a runner on second, 2 out. Like just crushed on Twitter. But like I still believe it. Like the guy just makes contact, and there's something about him to me that's a dangerous hitter. That's something I wanted to pass on as well with that. So we got game 3, we got game 4 coming up here tomorrow. On Thursday. I want to bring up this Diamond note as well, personal for me. Trevor May rips the Athletics owner for announcing the retirement here on his retirement with the A's. I mean, just unloads on him as an A's fan here. I remember it's a big deal because, hey, somebody actually gave a crap and maybe wanted to say what the fan said. So I'm going to bring it up here real quick. Let me know if hopefully you guys can hear it as I bring it up on the screen, what he said about the A's ownership here.
And I just want to know, now that it's official, to the A's organization and every single person part of it, I love all of you. Every single one of you except for one guy. We all know who that guy is.
Look at the dramatic pause.
It's getting
Professional.
ready. Unload.
I tried to get a sell shirt. It didn't get here fast enough. Sell it, man. Let someone who actually like takes pride in the things they own something. There's actually people who give a shit about the game. Let them do it.
I had to bring that up because it was something that, for me as an A's fan, you've been waiting for somebody to say. He even goes on to say, Josh, you got your money from your mommy and daddy, basically. So it was really good. It was like something as an A's fan, you're like, a lot of players probably feel that same way. But if you have a job, you're just not going to say that, that regard. Obviously, retired. I'm assuming he wants to get it somewhere in the MLB. But so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with him, kind of getting back into the job market. But there's so many podcast stuff out there. But I know as an A's fan, that felt good to hear somebody say that. I was going to say that right there. That felt good to hear a player actually feel what the fan base thought.
Would it have felt a little better if he was still contracted by the A's instead of waiting until he was on his way out?
I think because I understand where you're coming from too. It's like somebody that has a job. You're still trying to get your job. I'm not expecting him to lose his job over it. I mean, our Fisher should be the one coming out addressing all this stuff. So he shouldn't have to address it for the whole fan base during the season and risk losing paychecks over it at this point. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's glad to hear him say what everybody else was thinking, basically, too, from a player's perspective. So if he's thinking it, other players have thought the same thing for sure, right? This isn't something they're not debating. So I thought it was good to see him just kind of go rip on the A's owner. I brought it up a few times here on the seventh inning stretch, so I was happy to hear that as well on it. Josh, what do you think about that real quick? You don't see too many players go, even when they retire, go on ownership like that.
I loved it, to be honest. And I'm not, I think I'm more traditional and I don't like those things out in the public. But because of this situation and the way it's been handled and the way things have been done and the absolute disrespect the fans have been shown by the owner, I love this. I think it's great. I had heard the front end of the clip. I'd never listened to the whole thing all the way through.
Yeah.
But I got a good chuckle when I heard it the first time because it caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. And I was just like, amen. Preach.
Yeah, I'm with you both. It was good. It was great. I think the whole A's front office needs especially Fisher because he's the guy who pulls the strings. But to Dave Cavill, who has used the Giants to try and celebrate the A's and make that he's a piece of shit too. He hasn't done anything to make the A's better or the franchise better, and he's been hired by Fisher. And the guy who skates scot-free every time is Billy Beane. He hasn't said anything he won't because, like I said, or I asked you before, he's on the payroll. He's getting paid, so he doesn't. But at the same time, why? Don't the A's fans get fed up with these guys who've been there for years and years, who haven't even brought you any success? Maybe for a couple of years, but it's not a continued. They should be fed up with it. Why can't I be able to make my team that I'm working for? I don't know.
I don't blame Beane. As an A's fan, I don't blame Beane.
I know no A's fan blames Beane. They let Beane act like he's some pariah, the greatest thing since.
I don't think he's the greatest thing ever, but it's the owner. I mean, he's the one that said, he's the one he didn't allow Beane to do his job earlier. He didn't allow these things to happen. He's the guy.
It was before Fisher when Beane was successful.
Yeah, but even as he took over, he stayed cheap. All that stuff played out the same.
I'm not making excuses for Fisher. But Beane could have made a difference. He actually, the fans, the fan base, Oakland, always been Moneyball. Oh, yeah, Beane's great. He's and baseball thinks of Beane as just the Moneyball guy. He started this whole thing. He's a genius. And he never came out and said anything about any of the owners. It's not even Fisher. It's the guys even before Fisher.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Never did anything.
I feel in that movie they kind of said things behind the scenes about it.
Obviously, I'm playing devil's advocate. This is great. I'm so glad they did this because Fisher deserves all the revenue. And I hope Oakland, it's probably past the point of them staying, but Oakland deserves a baseball team.
Yeah, and if we don't get it with this team, it's gonna be a long shot for until the next time we get
especially with the politics in Oakland.
Yeah, especially with that. Playoff history here. I got to go to our Bay Area one more time for us, Josh, just because it's local here. 34 years ago yesterday, we have the earthquake here during the Bay Bridge series, 6.9 during Game 3, getting ready to start. The A's at San Francisco. I remember being in the mall parking lot garage with my mom, and her just just taking me, a 5-year-old, sprinting me and my brother, who was 2, out of the parking lot garage. Obviously, a 3-story cement parking lot garage. She just running us out of that thing as fast as you can imagine. So that's kind of the one image I have from that. And I remember going home and being like, "Why isn't the game on?" Like, I remember being really upset as a 5-year-old, not understanding why the game was not being played here. Like, this was a big deal to me at this point. It delayed the series 10 days. And the A's didn't even get to have a parade. It's just this weird kind of footnote. I feel like, as kind of an A's fan, it's like a good thing that they won, but it's kind of this weird deal because of this massive earthquake too. So to me, it's always been a big deal in my life whenever I think about the Bay Bridge World Series, and especially this earthquake, because the fact that these two teams met up in the World Series is fascinating as well. Just being that close to it, and both teams not usually always being that good. And then of course you have an earthquake during the one right before the game starts. I mean, you just can't have it any other way. So Tyler, do you have any thoughts on that? You remember any stories your dad have about everything?
Yeah, first, one of the greatest VCR tapes, videos, the Battle of the Bay, Giants versus A's. Everyone in the Bay Area grew up with that tape, that videotape in their
Thank you, Bob Costas,
collection.
for narrating it.
There's a great video. My dad was actually at the game. He was
at the game?
Yeah, he was at the game. He was in the parking lot waiting to go in, and he felt the earthquake, and they announced over the loudspeaker, "Game is canceled. The Bay Bridge is not drivable." And he looks over, and there, sure enough, there's a limo, and it's Joe Montana, and his wife is breastfeeding their youngest son, and he's like, "What the hell is going on? This is a freaking movie!" And then as far as the whole baseball goes, you got to pitch Dave Stewart twice in 3 games. It wasn't fair for the Giants. But yeah,
it's a big deal out here, Josh, in the Bay Area. It's a huge deal out here, that earthquake.
You said it was 34 years ago?
34 years ago, yeah.
I was 1 year old, so I have no recollection.
Me neither. I don't either. It's all stories.
Yeah, Tyler.
Yeah, I've heard about it, but nothing big because we were out here in St. Louis.
Like today, I got an alert on my phone, earthquake. Blah, blah,
Same
blah.
here.
Like this big old alarm on my phone. I was like, what the
9:30. I know, I got it too. I was like, earthquake is coming. I was like, oh, sure, letting me know it's going to happen. I was like, what's going on?
How do you predict an earthquake? Did you feel anything? I didn't feel it.
I did not feel a thing, but I remember being at my meeting at work, and we all got it. I was like, should we get under the desk? What's happening here?
My fiance was on her way to Alameda in the tunnel, and she was freaking out. Like,
I think it was in San Jose.
I thought it was in Sacramento, but my
Sacramento.
fiance was in Alameda, and she was freaking out.
Josh getting a geographical class here about the Bay Area. So Josh, keep those notes as where we're at here with it. All right, so that was my thoughts with it. Hey, look ahead to tomorrow's action here as we kind of wrap up the show here. We got the two. Logan said, "I love it when we play the early starts." Logan, nobody here on the West Coast like the 2:07 start. I'm working. I cannot watch. I mean, it's terrible. It's the most pathetic start time of all time. We got Phillies at Arizona at 2:07 Eastern West Coast time, and then we got the Astros at Texas 5:03 on Thursday night. So a lot of good baseball on tomorrow here. What do you guys think, Josh? You got a prediction? You think the Diamondbacks get a W, or do you think the Phillies go up 3-0?
I'm gonna go with the Diamondbacks. They're going to get one at home.
Fatty gets the job done, as Tyler said, right?
I believe Fatty will be throwing Fatty to the top of that lineup, and they will be whacking it at him. That ballpark that you can just crush balls out of. Shout out to Corbin Carroll, though. Like, what a year.
What do you think of my Steve Finley comparison with it? You like that one?
I think he's better than Steve Finley. I mean, Steve Finley had great years.
I didn't know Steve Finley had 300 home runs. I didn't realize he had that. That's like, good Lord, I didn't realize he had that many when I looked it up. And 300 and over. I was like, that was stunned when I saw he had 300 home runs.
Remember, he had a walk-off in game 162 to beat the Giants.
He killed you on that one. All right, so you got D-Bat. You got both. You got Phillies. We've never seen the Phillies get off if the Phillies hit another home run in the first inning. Or they're going to go up 1-0 every game here on a home run. So That'll be the most curious thing to me. Josh, what do you think about Astros Rangers? Do the Astros tie it up tomorrow? And do we have ourselves a beauty of a series here? Do the Rangers with Bochy go up 3-1? What do you got?
I'm going to take Rangers to win tomorrow night.
Woo! All right. I like
Me
it.
and you are just disagreeing all over the place. I got that.
Hey, we have to.
I like it.
It makes it more interesting, right?
Exactly.
I got the Astros. I think the Astros are better. I think the Astros.
Now, I
think
still
it's
think
going
the
to repeat it
Rangers
last
will win
year.
the series. Okay. I think the Rangers are going to win that series, and I think the Phillies are going to win the other one.
What do you think's the
But I
best
think
World
the
Series
Diamondbacks-
playing? Is it Phillies Astros again? It's like the most entertaining World Series again.
It's Phillies and whoever comes out of the AL. I don't think it matters. I think both those teams over there are good.
It has to be that. I mean, I can't name 2 starters on the Rangers, and I'm
Scherzer, Jordan
Dude, Scherzer
Montgomery.
and Montgomery.
Scherzer's hurt. He's
Josh
not pitching. Isn't he?
Jacob
Scherzer just
DeGrom.
pitched tonight.
Did he pitch tonight?
No, Jacob
Yeah.
DeGrom. I'm kidding.
Wasn't
I
very
forgot.
good.
When they mentioned him, I was like, I forgot he got hurt in the first. But like, you kind of forget about these guys sometimes that are gone for 8 months ago. They get hurt. Even a guy like
And
Jacob
Nathan
DeGrom.
Eovaldi.
I was like, they could have used him. He was nasty.
Oh, Jacob DeGrom would be nice for this.
Yeah, Jacob
You know,
DeGrom would be very nice for them right
He's
now.
some of the worst starting pitching in playoff history, like in the NLCS. Like
no, I would
name
disagree.
wise.
Wheeler,
Yeah, but
Nola,
Nola,
Gallen's good.
What does he accomplish?
I thought Kelly was
ERA?
pretty nasty too at times last night.
He gave
I
up
know
8
you-
runs.
I know Schwarber got him twice, but I thought he was pretty nasty for the most part overall. I thought his stuff was played. I thought his stuff was good. He only gave up 3 hits. It's not like he was like
What was the worst year?
3 home runs. That's what he gave up. He gave 3 hits, 3 home runs, and almost 5 2/3. So I thought he.
We have Fatty pitching a game 3 of that.
I'm not saying Fatty's going to give us a chance here, but
So yeah, versus Ranger Suarez in game 3. It's say what you want. Like, I don't know. I think it's not very good starting pitching.
Well, we'll see that. It doesn't matter. We'll see if the teams play out well tomorrow. We'll see if the Rangers get it again to go up to 3-1, or do the Astros make it a series and go 2-2. Josh Edwards here, 7th inning stretch. Got to shout everybody out here. Thanks for watching here. Make sure you please and subscribe to Vanna White as well as I got here. Josh, as you know, on Twitter. That's I had to shout you on that on a comment there.
I knew you were going to work it in somewhere. I just didn't know where.
Inside joke that at some point there, if you're on the text chain here at VSN, you know what we're talking about. I know Tyler's on it, so he saw it probably too.
I saw them.
As like I said, we got a lot of things going here at Variety Sports. We're at 4:30 now. Tyler's got the TMB podcast going. Tyler's been doing good with that. You're up to 40 views again this week, so your Niners are killing it there. You guys are going to be putting out another show next week, I believe, after the game against the Vikings. So appreciate you kind of joining me and Josh here on 7th inning stretch, kind of giving us your perspective on the playoffs a little bit too. So thanks for jumping on, man.
Thanks for having me. I love talking baseball. Josh, Darren, you always keep it entertaining. You keep it light. You keep it fun. Like empty calories, easy to take in. But they stick to you. You got good points. You always are entertaining. But Darren mentioned it. Check out TMB podcast on Variety Sports Network every Monday or Tuesday. Different day, actually. Probably Monday or Tuesdays.
Yeah, you mix it up.
I do. I get busy. Yeah, so the last 2 weeks we've killed it. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for Variety Sports Network. We're trying to get to 500 by November 1st.
When's the wedding?
Thanks for having me on.
When's the wedding date again? That's all that matters. When's the wedding?
November 4th. And then I have a 2-week I have a 2-week honeymoon, and then that boy Vadeaway is coming back.
Can we get to 500 subscribers before Tyler's wedding? Can you do it? Can you live broadcast?
2-week honeymoon. Where are you going?
Going to China.
I'm going to Florida.
For 2 weeks?
Where?
Well, Florida, then LA.
Are you
and then
driving?
back home. No, fuck no. I'm not. Sorry, excuse my language.
You're going from one hot state to another hot state.
It's freaking November. It's not that hot.
Well, I've never been to I have been in. You know what? I was in California in November and it was hot.
No, it's not hot. Well, it'll be okay. It'll be like
it was 90 degrees today.
Yeah, you're right.
pretty
That's
hot in
mid-October.
November.
It could be hot, but I'm hoping it's not. I don't do well in the hot. I hate the hot. I have the air conditioner on right now. But mid-November or early
You
November.
need to move to the Midwest, like Iowa.
No. I tried to tell
at 110-degree humidity, I'm out.
Tyler, I need
Cry
you to-
myself to sleep every night.
I need
Imagine trying to
Tyler with-
sleep
Okay.
in that.
I need
Okay, go
you,
North
Tyler,
Dakota.
Yeah, that's more like it.
I needed Tyler with Josh and the Ford on here when they were talking about the Midwest. I need another California guy out here to understand where I was coming from. I love it. They're both like, only for vacation. Only for vacation.
Yep, just for vacation.
Hey, let's we'll make it work. No, that's good. So yeah, no, Tyler, appreciate you coming on, man. I'm glad the team be there. Kind of getting going a little bit there for you on that. Josh, 7th inning stretch here. We'll probably do a little bit more with the World Series, of course, but we're still we'll hit you up next week, probably on Wednesday as well. And who knows? By then we might have that World Series matchup. It might be close, or we might be close to the Game 7s. That's kind of where we're at when we get to next week on Tuesday or Wednesday. So we kind of see where we're at in the baseball calendar come next week. For Josh Edwards, for Tyler McGurk, I'm Darren Breyer, Fat Boy Fade Away. Be sure to tune in, like they said, the Variety Sports Network. Everybody out there working hard. Till next time. Peace.
Fat Boy Fader is coming back.
Hey, this is Brandon, CEO of the Variety Sports Network. Thank you again for watching tonight's show. Best way you can support us is by hitting that subscribe button, that like button, and hitting the notifications so you don't miss out on the next show.